Story 1. Toyota Corolla. Bought one in 2017. If you are looking for good, reliable transportation, this is it. Decent size, good trunk, decent power, and a nice set of safety features. I got the base model, and it is not what you would call plush, but I have driven in it for more than 10 hours in a day and it was fine. The only issue on mine is that water leaves a stain on the seat upholstery. We got covers. Story 2. Personally, a Toyota Camry, Lexus ES 350, Toyota Corolla, Honda Accord, Honda Civic, Honda Fit, Mazda 3, and Mazda Miata. Previously owned, of course. I would probably pick the Corolla in the end. There is a reason that one sees so many of them on the road. They last. Reliability above all else is important to me. Your priorities may differ. Story 3. I love my Subaru Impreza. It is my second one, but only because someone ran a red light and T-boned me in the first one. I walked away from that accident with nothing but a couple of bruises. I have had the current one for 7 years, and I love it. Story 4. I really miss the Subaru Legacy 3.6R that I had. It was fast without needing premium gasoline, fun to drive, and great for the winters we experience. Story 5. As a Bay Area and Sacramento commuter, I've had multiple cars go over 200,000 miles, but the easiest cars to maintain have been my last two, which surprisingly were Hyundai Elantras. I had a 2016 model that reached just around 200,000 miles before someone abruptly switched lanes, forcing me to slam my brakes in the pouring rain. I crashed into the center divider but was able to drive it home afterward. After that, I bought a 2020 Hyundai Elantra with 20,000 miles for $20,000. The only maintenance I have needed to perform on these cars includes basic tasks: oil changes, air filters, tires, brake pads, and headlight bulbs. They are also excellent on gas. I can get close to 40 miles per gallon driving at 75 miles per hour or more. Story 6. I got my Hyundai Elantra SEL for $23,000 out the door. I bought it new, and it is a 2023 model. I cannot speak to current prices, but I have 70,000 miles on it, and it is doing fantastic. Please call dealerships. Ask for under manufacturer's suggested retail price and keep checking dealerships within reasonable distances until you find a deal. Story 7. I bought a Hyundai Sonata new during COVID-19 for $21,000. It has 140,000 miles on it. Oil changes, gas, and tires are all I have had to do so far. I can probably find the same model with 30 to 50,000 miles for $10,000 to $12,000 now, so that would be my path. I have 3 of them that I bought at the same time in the year 2020. The one with 140,000 miles is just the one with the most miles. I have had no issues with any of them. Story 8. What would I pick? A Corvette C5 Z06 or a Corvette C6 with the Z51 package? What should the average non-enthusiast buy? The best Accord they can afford. Story 9. Chevrolet Corvette C5 Z06. One just sold in my area on Marketplace in great shape with 60,000 miles for $25,000. I will have one eventually. Story 10. Ford Crown Victoria Police Interceptor from 2011. Absolute tank. Every mechanic knows it inside and out with minimal electronics. They run for hundreds of thousands of miles. Story 11. Anything Kia or Hyundai. Not because they are the best cars in the world, but their 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain and 6-year, 60,000-mile bumper-to-bumper coverage is unmatched. The peace of mind I got with mine is worth it alone. That said, I have a 2021 Forte GT2 and I think I was out the door for about $23,000. This car has heated and cooled seats, adaptive cruise control, approximately 190 horsepower, good fuel economy, and has not had a single issue. Also, to all the Kia haters who are going to criticize this, at least provide a reason for your downvote. Story 12. Toyota Hilux/Tacoma between 1999 and 2004. Good condition turbo diesel will run forever if you look after it. Many modifications are possible. Turn it into a 4-wheel drive monster, a low luxury cruiser, a touring camper, Convert it to run on biodiesel. Maybe even a diesel-electric conversion for great fuel economy. Story 13. Just bought my 2022 Honda Accord lease buyout for $22,000. I think I made out pretty well considering it had 36,000 miles. Story 14. New? Probably a Subaru Impreza. It would be the base model. Not much you can get new for $25,000 these days. Story 15. I will buck the import trend and say an early 2000s Chevrolet or General Motors company. Preferably a Silverado or Sierra, but a Suburban would work. Must have the 5.3-liter Vortec engine. These vehicles were fairly reliable, easy to maintain and work on, and parts are extremely easy to find. Story 16. My Kia Soul is currently sitting at 257,000 miles. I have never had to replace anything beyond filters and oil. It was brand new at 25,000 miles with a few options for another one. Story 17. Already did. Picked up a pre-owned Hyundai Kona electric vehicle for $22,900 last year with only 16,000 miles on it. Could not be happier. Story 18. We have two cars for that. A 2006 Lexus RX 330 and a 2012 Mazda 3. Both had careful previous owners and are in very good condition, especially the Lexus, considering its age. Story 19. Bought a 2015 Mercedes E350 a few years ago for $20,000. A similar car is now down to around $15,000. The car has been absolutely great to me and is still just as luxurious as when it was new. Story 20. Used Toyota Camry. In school, I learned Toyota was one of the first car companies to use modern supply chain practices. The originator was one of the first people to adopt these methods. Some might even say the founder of these practices. They make great cars with excellent quality control. I have been driving a 2018 model since 2021 and have had zero issues. There is a reason I take criticism from my family for driving a foreign vehicle when I know they know what they are doing. Story 21. As an American brand fan, I'd go with a Buick. It is easy and cheap to maintain, one of the most reliable brands after Toyota, Lexus, and Honda. They are exceptionally comfortable and easy to drive, and they're always inexpensive in the used market compared to Toyotas. I owned a used 2017 Buick Encore and it was flawless, although it was totaled. I bought a newer Encore GX instead. It has a very good crash rating too. I walked out of a smoking car with just a minor scratch in a 45 miles per hour front-end collision. If you're okay with sacrificing features and tolerate some more expensive maintenance due to imported parts, Volkswagen Jettas are also a solid choice in that price range. Otherwise, of course, consider a used Honda Civic or Toyota Corolla, but expect to pay the Toyota tax on those cars in the used market. Story 22. I would try to find a used Subaru Impreza or Subaru Crosstrek. After having had one for nearly 10 years, I do not want to go back to front-wheel drive when dealing with winter driving. Story 23. A slight variation to the original poster's question. What would be the best choice for a car under $25,000 that is reliable with low maintenance costs, but also has a respectable amount of power, a lot of acceleration, something that does not require pressing the gas pedal to the floor just to reach 60 miles per hour in time to merge onto the highway? Something that does not require pressing the gas pedal to the floor simply to pass another car on the highway? Currently driving a 2016 Nissan Versa with 115,000 miles. The only maintenance I have done on it is oil changes, tires, and shocks, due to rough roads in Pennsylvania, but it is very slow and sluggish, especially when the air conditioning is on. Any recommendations? Story 24. Depends on how much you drive. I bought a 2011 BMW 3 Series for $16,000 in 2016, and it has been rock solid ever since. I could have opted for a base Toyota Corolla, brand new, instead. I only drive about 3,000 to 4,000 miles per year though. It is not everyone's path, I know, but I have been very happy. Story 25. Buick Park Avenue or LeSabre with the 3800 V6. Or an 8th generation 2007 to 2011 Honda Civic. The Buick will be like driving your favorite armchair. Working on it is ridiculously easy, parts are cheap, and your mechanic will literally thank you. The Civic will be great on gas, blend in with traffic, and also be ridiculously easy to maintain. They are still common. I also own one with 350,000 miles and zero check engine lights. Story 26. Volkswagen. I got mine used with 25,000 miles on it for about $20,000. I love it, and I would definitely look at used cars in dealerships. New cars depreciate as soon as you drive off the lot. If you are patient enough, you can find one for a good price, especially one that was used as a loaner car at the dealership. Also, I negotiated with them to get the price down to around $20,000. Story 27. If the car is made in April 2025 by a Subaru, they have surpassed Honda and Toyota as the most reliable car brands. Outside of recent years, it is better to choose Honda or Toyota. Sometimes Subaru and Mazda appear among the top options, but this depends on the specific model and year. If you do not want to do research, just get an old, reliable Toyota or Honda. Story 28. Does it count that I bought my Subaru Crosstrek for exactly $25,000? I really love the car. It is the most efficient car I have ever owned, and it never has any problems. Story 29. $25,000 is a huge budget for a good car. I have had $5,000 junkers that lasted me over 300,000 miles. For that kind of money, I am getting a mid-2000s GMC Yukon or truck for sure. Whatever is left over, I will save for proper maintenance so it lasts forever. Story 30. $25,000? I've never even paid that much for a car. I refuse. That said, my Jeep is paid off because I only gave $6,500 for it. My work truck only cost me $3,500 because it was an estate sale. The only thing I have a payment on is my wife's car because I always buy her much nicer vehicles than I buy myself. Story 31. Any car. I really do not care as long as it looks nice, has good fuel efficiency, and has less than 10,000 miles. My current vehicle is an old Ford truck, so my mileage on streets is poor. Story 32. I really want a V6 all-wheel drive Buick LaCrosse 2017 to 2019. Used Lexus, Toyota Avalon, or Camry. Maybe a Buick Envision. Story 33. Subaru. Every time. My 2005 Forester just rolled 300,000 miles and runs really well. I just put $1,200 in parts and friend and family cost labor, but it was totally worth it. Other than general maintenance you would do on any car, I have had no problems. I love this car and want to take it to 500,000 miles. If I take it that far, I am going to have fun on Kramer and see just how far I can take it. Story 34. I had a 2014 six-cylinder Dodge Challenger for $17,000 as my first car. After 3 weeks of owning it, someone T-boned me, and I received a write-off payment of $21,000. With that, I bought a 2014 eight-cylinder Dodge Charger for $25,000. My back hurts. Story 35. It depends largely on the intent behind the purchase. Is this a car from which you intend to get as much life as possible, your daily driver for as long as possible? Or is this a second car meant to be a plaything or fun project to tinker with on weekends, hit back roads, or the track? If it is the first option, get a Toyota Camry or Honda Accord that is a few years old but has 50,000 or fewer miles. Treat it well, drive it sensibly, insure it properly with no bare minimums, and choose the highest deductible you can manage to keep your monthly premiums down. Include rental car coverage, and you may very well get upwards of 400,000 comfortable miles out of it. If it is the second option and you do not want to tinker, find a 5 to 8-year-old Audi S4, S6, or RS4 that has been treated well and has under 80,000 miles. You can have an absolute blast driving around familiar wooded back roads at speeds you did not think possible. If you prefer to tinker, get an Exocet kit and donor Mazda Miata and make it a true reflection of your passion for motorsport, or do something entirely different. This is not about anyone else. It is about you. Story 36. Whatever is the newest, nicest Corvette $25,000 will get you these days. Probably AC5Z06 or AC6 with an LS3. A 987 Cayman or Boxster S is also tempting, but I feel like my Miata already scratches the tossable itch. If I were getting something else, I would rather have something faster. If it has to be a daily driver, I would be looking at a used Subaru WRX, Volkswagen GTI or GLI, or Honda Civic C. Story 37. Just bought a second Nissan Xterra today. If you do not think they are the best sport utility vehicles ever, you just have not owned one. Story 38. 2010 to 2018 SR5 Toyota 4Runner 4x4, 2008 to 2019 Toyota Tundra 4x4, 2014 to 2018 Ford F-150 with the 5.0-liter engine. Any Honda with a naturally aspirated 4-cylinder engine. The 6-cylinder engines are having issues. Any Toyota FJ Cruiser, 2008 to 2022 Nissan Frontier 4x4, Lexus CT200H or Toyota Prius. I would avoid anything else. Story 39. For that budget, I would try to find a used BMW X5 with the turbocharged inline 6-cylinder and 8-speed all-wheel drive drivetrain. BMWs might not be for everyone, but I have two of them now, a 2014 5 Series and a 2017 X3, with that drivetrain and very much love both. Story 40. I bought a 2002 Buick with 160,000 miles. I had a mechanic inspect it. The vehicle was in perfect condition. I paid $2,000 for it, and it runs perfectly well. Story 41. I would choose a new vehicle over a used one. According to the model at that price point, I would add $2,900 and go for a stripped Nissan Frontier midsize pickup truck. The price is $27,900 and it is nicely equipped. This is a huge improvement over most $25,000 cars. Story 42. 2014 Mercedes C240 sedan. 78,000 miles. Mercedes-AMG Sport Trim Package. Custom light-up front emblem. Micro spoiler. I love my car. Story 43. Ford Maverick, if Ford would actually sell the one I want. 6 months ago, they had many recalls and did not know when they would be resolved. They could not sell and deliver the vehicle. I do not think I would actually buy one because Ford seems problematic, but it is the vehicle I want under $25,000. Story 44. Speed to price ratio. I would go for an Infiniti G37 or Nissan 370Z. Cute and fun to drive. A manual Honda S2000 or Mazda Miata would be ideal. Story 45. A Mercedes C300, 2018 model. I do not know what it is about them, they just run very well. They are nice, elegant, and I have had a great experience with all my Mercedes cars so far. Story 46. I will probably replace my 2015 Honda Fit manual with a slightly newer one. They stopped making them in 2020, but I think they still had a manual. Story 47. I got a 2000 Honda Civic for 3,500 Canadian dollars. I would keep the remaining 21,500 Canadian dollars instead of spending it. Even if I am given a certain amount of money to spend on something, I will still go as cheap as I reasonably can. I was given 40 Canadian dollars for my birthday a few years ago to buy a pair of earbuds or headphones. I bought earbuds for 7.50 Canadian dollars and kept the remaining 32.50 Canadian dollars. I still use those earbuds, and they are surprisingly good for how inexpensive they were. Story 48. A 2019 Honda Accord Sport, in still night purple to be specific. Out of the more than 20 vehicles I have had in my life, that was by far my favorite. It was the slowest accelerating car I have ever driven, but I must say, it was the most comfortable, dependable, and fuel-efficient of the lot. Very good looking too. That car fit me like a glove. Story 49. For myself, Miata or Polestar 2. For someone else, I am tempted to say a RAV4 hybrid, but they are almost 100,000 miles for that price. So maybe Camry hybrid. New, probably a Civic. I would see if you can stretch the budget a bit for the hybrid because it would save enough on gas to pay for itself. Story 50. I got a 2020 Kia Forte GT manual for $23,000 in 2023. It is just sporty enough and I love the interior. You can probably find one for a lot less now. Story 51. I just bought a used pickup with a little under 140,000 miles. Everything except the air conditioning functions as designed. I paid $4,000 in cash. Story 52. Last year, I bought a 23-year-old Lexus SC430 for well under $25,000. It is the smoothest car I have ever driven. However, deep down, it is a Toyota. Story 53. A restored 1999 Subaru Legacy Outback with silver and gray paint. I missed that car, and I could have restored it with $25,000. Story 54. I got a Toyota Corolla Hybrid for $26,000 out the door. I paid an extra $1,000 to get the hybrid, and it is worth every penny. It requires less maintenance and gets more than 50 miles per gallon on every drive. Story 55. Used late 1990s Honda Civic or Toyota Camry with one of those aftermarket Pioneer radios and a few dents and scratches for anti-theft protection. Honorable mentions are late 1990s and early 2000s Buick LeSabre, Park Avenue, and Century. Story 56. Kind of a black sheep answer, but Impala Super Sport. I put 260,000 miles on mine and sold it 2 years ago. As far as I know, it is still running. A 5.3-liter truck engine in a sedan is a great experience. Story 57. Any clean title 2014 to 2018 Mazda 3, especially the 2.5 with manual transmission, no matter how many miles are on it. I have a customer who has over 500,000 miles on his 2014. Story 58. Cleanest BMW E90 and E92 with less than 100,000 miles. You will have plenty of money left over to take care of any unforeseen maintenance issues that the pre-purchase inspection did not detect. Story 59. I would buy another of what I just bought. A 2018 Cadillac ATS Coupe with a manual transmission. It is reliable, very fun, and offers great value. The fact that everyone says buy a Toyota means I can get one of these for less than people pay for a Corolla of the same year with twice as many miles. Absolutely. Story 60. Used Toyota Camry from the latest generation with low mileage. Avoid buying any car immediately after a redesign. Story 61. Anything pre-Great Depression may be the best. Nothing beats those old cars that actually are cars. Don't underestimate the old speed. Those things are fast. Story 62. One of these. Toyota Corolla Hybrid 2022 model. Source. I bought one earlier this year used. Solid car. Acceleration is not as good as the Honda Insight I traded in, but it does get 52 miles per gallon. Also, the one I got has a lot of technology that I like, including Android Auto, lane keeping assist, adaptive cruise control, and automatic high beams, which are effective. Story 63. I know you said under $25,000, but I recently got a brand new 2025 Ford Maverick Hybrid for $27,000 with an unlimited lifetime warranty. Story 64. My dream car, which I actually owned before I was forced to sell it after losing my job, was a 1998 Volvo S70. Story 65. Volkswagen Passat 2020 model, specifically the B7 facelift, is an excellent car. You can find many X-company leasing models here in Germany. My dad has one, and it is the best car he and I have ever driven. Story 66. Also Mazda 3. Mine cost $3,500. It is a 2005 model. Bought 3 years ago, still going fine. Only one repair. Toyota Corolla is the most reliable car I have ever owned. Story 67. If we are talking about just for fun, then the highest-end Fiat things, Bar 2 or something, are super up and make limited editions. It is the most fun thing besides a motorcycle. I drive a truck. Story 68. The concept of buying a car is very foreign to me. Life has been kind, and I have only ever had to pay $1,000 out of pocket when buying a vehicle from a family member. The others have been signed over. My daily driver is an old manual transmission Honda that has been in our friend group for 2 decades, with original paperwork and a sale price under $12,000. I will fix it until it cannot be fixed anymore, and then I will figure out a way to fix it after that. Story 69. My 2016 Jeep Patriot with just over 100,000 miles I got for $9,000. blacked out back windows, rain guards, aftermarket stereo. I love it. Story 70. Used U-Haul or step van. Use the rest of the money to do it yourself a tiny home out of it. Stop paying rent. Start saving money. I could make something surprisingly comfortable for $25,000. Story 71. Toyota Prius Alpha, also known as V+. Cheap, reliable, low petrol consumption, large trunk, can easily reach 180 kilometers per hour, low tax payments. Story 72. If I had to go shopping again, I would choose a Genesis G70 or an Alfa Romeo Stelvio or Giulia. They have low mileage because Alfa Romeo vehicles depreciate significantly. Story 73. I'm a sucker for Skoda. Great quality and value. My Fabia has lasted me for years, and I'll get another next time too, or an Octavia if we go up in size. Story 74. Used Prius. They last forever, are very reliable, get amazing mileage, and are incredibly boring to drive. I live in Los Angeles, and you see many from around 2010 still on the road. My 2014 Prius has never given me any trouble, and still has the original battery with no sign that a new one is needed soon. We also have a 2020 Prius, and it gets 56 miles per gallon. Story 75. I would never consider anything other than a Dodge Challenger. Most likely a V6 for that price, but still better than anything else I can imagine in that range. Story 76. One of those little minimalist $10,000 Japanese trucks that I am not allowed to buy in America for some reason. Story 77. I have a 14-year-old Kia Soul. I only drive it around my town, but it still runs fine and all the features work. There are no broken window motors or faulty air conditioning. Story 78. Volkswagen Passat variant. Of course, it depends on your situation and family composition. For people with small children, these cars are excellent. Story 79. If you want SUV vibes, a used Honda HR-V could be amazing. I have leased 2 of them. They are awesome little 4-door all-wheel drive cars for getting from point A to point B. Story 80. Under $25,000? I have had 34 cars, and the most expensive was $6,000. I am currently driving a $200 Honda Insight and an $800 Volvo 240. Story 81. Just bought a Mercedes-Benz CLA 220-2019 for €24,000 secondhand, and I love it. I just touch the pedal and it goes vroom vroom. The diesel engine can travel 800 kilometers per tank. Such a cool car. Story 82. Simple rules. No vehicles from Stellantis, although that is a European manufacturer. They own all the Chrysler brands, including Jeep and Chrysler. Continuously variable transmissions, CVTs, are highly unreliable gearboxes. Choose engines with a timing chain instead of a timing belt. If it has a wet belt, inside the engine rather than outside, avoid it, as engine oil damages belts. Simpler designs result in fewer breakdowns. Engine compression matters. The reason 7-liter engines from the 1970s lasted a long time is that low compression reduces stress on components. For example, Skoda had a 1.9-liter 90-horsepower diesel engine that taxi drivers regularly used to run 500,000 miles. The same engine in the Audi A4 configured for 150 horsepower would begin smoking and burning oil after 100,000 miles. Both are Volkswagen brands. The Skoda Octavia of that period was essentially a more attractive version of the Volkswagen Jetta. The Toyota Corolla is the best-selling car worldwide for good reason. It is reliable, affordable, and durable. Suzuki is also a reliable brand due to simple and inexpensive designs, resulting in fewer failures. The Suzuki Swift is so basic that it functions almost like a go-kart. Understand that a car is a tool. If it is not reliable or does not meet your needs, sell or discard it. Do not keep investing money in repairs. Even Toyota and Lexus have variations in build quality depending on production shifts. For example, cars made on Monday morning by workers who may be tired or hungover might be less reliable than those made midweek. Story 83. Does Hyundai offer vehicles at that price? They make great vehicles. Well made. I read that about 9 out of 10 Hyundai vehicles made since 2010 are still on the road. My 2013 model is still going strong with no major repairs. Story 84. If your driving profile does not include long trips, BMW i3. Fun to drive, exceptionally engineered, carbon fiber body will never rust. Besides brake fluid and tires, it is essentially maintenance-free. Those tires are expensive, though. However, for most Americans, the size of the car is probably a deal breaker. If you install 5 solar panels on your garage roof, you can drive almost for free. I drove 2,500 miles since the beginning of March and exclusively charged the car with my solar system. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.